Hey there, ocean lovers! It's Fishy Master here, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of fish farming. So, what exactly is fish farming? Fish farming, also known as aquaculture, is the practice of raising fish in controlled environments. This method is used to meet the growing demand for seafood and to reduce the pressure on wild fish populations. Fish farming can take place in various settings, including ponds, tanks, and ocean enclosures. It's not just about fish, though. It can include other aquatic animals too, like shrimp, oysters, and even seaweed. The goal is to produce a sustainable and reliable source of fish for consumption. This helps meet the growing demand for seafood without putting too much pressure on wild fish populations. More than half of the fish we eat now comes from farms. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. As our planet's population grows, fish farming is becoming more and more important for feeding people. By farming fish, we can reduce the pressure on wild fish populations. It's a way of ensuring that future generations can enjoy seafood too. Now you might think fish farming is a new thing, but it's actually been around for thousands of years. The earliest records of fish farming come from China, way back in 2000 BC. They were farming carp in ponds. Can you imagine? That's over 4,000 years ago. The ancient Egyptians were also into fish farming. They kept tilapia in ponds near their homes. In Europe, fish farming started in the Middle Ages. Monks were the pioneers here. They kept fish in ponds to have a steady supply of food during fasting periods. In the Americas, the Aztecs were also practicing a form of fish farming. They created artificial islands called chinampas in shallow lakes. Modern fish farming as we know it today really took off in the 20th century. Alright, let's dive into the different ways we farm fish. There's not just one way to do it. Fish farmers have developed several methods over the years. Each method has its own advantages and is suited to different types of fish and environments. The most common methods of fish farming are pond farming, cage farming, and recirculating aquaculture systems, RAS. Pond farming involves raising fish in artificial ponds. Cage farming uses cages or pens in open water bodies like lakes or oceans. RAS is a more high-tech approach that uses tanks with controlled environments. There are also some less common methods. For example, some farmers use a method called integrated farming. This combines fish farming with other types of agriculture. Another interesting method is aquaponics. This combines fish farming with hydroponics, growing plants in water. Let's start with pond fish farming. This is probably the oldest and most common method of fish farming. It's been around for thousands of years and is still widely used today. Pond farming is exactly what it sounds like, raising fish in ponds. These ponds can be natural or man-made, and they come in all sizes. One of the great things about pond farming is its simplicity. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment to get started. Basically, you need a pond, some fish, and food for the fish. Pond farming is used for many different types of fish. Carp, tilapia, and catfish are some of the most common. Despite challenges like weather, pond farming remains a popular and effective method of fish farming around the world. Cage fish farming, farming in open waters. Now let's swim out to deeper waters and talk about cage fish farming. This method involves raising fish in cages or pens in open water bodies. These could be lakes, rivers, or even the ocean. It's like having a floating fish farm. Cage farming has become increasingly popular in recent years, especially for raising marine fish species. The cages used in this type of farming come in all shapes and sizes. They're usually made of strong netting or mesh that allows water to flow through but keeps the fish inside. The cages are anchored to the bottom of the water body to keep them in place. One of the big advantages of cage farming is that it can be done in places where pond farming isn't possible. However, cage farming also has its challenges, like dealing with storms and rough weather. Many farmers are working on solutions to these problems to make fish farming more sustainable. Recirculating aquaculture systems, or RAS. Now let's dive into the high-tech world of RAS. This is like the space-age version of fish farming. RAS is an indoor method of fish farming that uses tanks and a whole lot of filtration equipment. It's a closed system, which means the same water is used over and over again. In a RAS, water from the fish tanks is continuously circulated through filters. These filters remove waste products and add oxygen to the water. The cleaned water is then returned to the fish tanks. This process allows farmers to control every aspect of the fish's environment. One of the big advantages of RAS is that it can be done almost anywhere. RAS also uses much less water than other methods of fish farming. Many people believe that RAS could be the future of fish farming, especially in urban areas. Benefits of fish farming. Alright, now that we've explored the different methods of fish farming, let's talk about why it's so important. Fish farming has a lot of benefits, both for people and for the environment. First and foremost, it helps meet the growing demand for seafood. With the world's population increasing, we need sustainable ways to produce more food. Fish farming also takes pressure off wild fish populations. By farming fish, we can reduce the need to catch wild fish. Farmed fish can be raised closer to where they're eaten, reducing the need for long-distance transportation. Another benefit of fish farming is that it provides jobs and economic opportunities. Fish farming also allows us to produce fish year-round, regardless of seasons or weather. By making fish more available and affordable, fish farming is helping to improve diets around the world. Environmental concerns in aquaculture. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Jeff, this all sounds great, but what about the environment? And you're right to ask that question. While fish farming has many benefits, it also comes with some environmental concerns. One of the main concerns is water pollution. Fish produce waste, just like any other animal. In some types of fish farms, this waste can build up and pollute the surrounding water. Another issue is the use of antibiotics and other chemicals. These are sometimes used to keep farmed fish healthy, but they can have negative impacts on the environment if not managed properly. There's also the issue of fish escapes. Sometimes farmed fish can escape into the wild. This can be a problem if they're not native to the area. In some cases, escaped farm fish can spread diseases to wild fish. Sustainable solutions in fish farming. Now, before you start worrying, let me tell you that fish farmers and scientists are working hard to address these environmental concerns. They're developing new technologies and practices to make fish farming more sustainable. One solution is improving feed formulas. Scientists are developing fish feeds that use less fish meal and fish oil. They're using alternative ingredients like algae, insects, and plant proteins. Another important solution is better waste management. Many farms are using advanced filtration systems to clean the water before it's released back into the environment. Some are even using the fish waste as fertilizer for crops. Genetic research is also playing a role in making fish farming more sustainable. Scientists are working on breeding fish that grow faster, resist diseases better, and use feed more efficiently. This can reduce the need for antibiotics and make fish farming more productive. The future of fish farming. As we look to the future, fish farming is set to play an even bigger role in feeding the world. The United Nations predicts that aquaculture will provide most of the fish we eat by 2030. One exciting development is offshore aquaculture. This involves large fish farms located far out in the ocean. These farms can take advantage of stronger currents to disperse waste and provide a better environment for the fish. Technology is going to play a big role in the future of fish farming. We're already seeing the use of drones and underwater robots to monitor fish health and manage feeding. Another interesting area is the farming of new species. Scientists are working on ways to farm other species, including some that are currently overfished in the wild. This could help take pressure off wild populations while providing more variety for consumers. Conclusion: swimming towards a sustainable future. Well, folks, we've taken quite a journey through the world of fish farming. From ancient Chinese carp ponds to high-tech underwater farms, we've seen how aquaculture has evolved over the years. But more importantly, we've seen how crucial fish farming is for our future. As our planet's population grows and wild fish stocks face increasing pressure, fish farming is becoming more important than ever. The challenges are real, but so are the solutions. Scientists, farmers, and innovators around the world are working hard to make fish farming more efficient and environmentally friendly. The future of fish farming is bright, but it depends on all of us. As consumers, we can support sustainable aquaculture practices by choosing responsibly farmed fish. Every choice we make can have an impact.